The second split of Season 9 is finally upon us, and it's time to get your grind on to finish out the season strong. What's up guys, it's Valued, and today we have all the information you're going to need to pick the right legend to help you win more games. From S tier to D tier, we're going to give you a quick rundown on who's going to be taking over this ranked season on Olympus. But wasting no time, let's get right into it. And starting off, we have our S tier, which consists of Octane, Gibby, Bloodhound, and Valkyrie. We're confident with the change of map, these legends are going to be the best options if you're looking to climb in this ranked split. With our first pick in the S tier, it's Octane. With Olympus coming back into rotation, the Adrenaline Junkie is back on top. Even after nerfs to his stim in the beginning of the season, Octane cannot be held down. He can consistently move faster than any other legend, and this allows him to push, retreat, and reposition at his own will. His speed allows him to pick his fights, engaging or running away at his will. And when he does take those fights, his move speed in combat has no rival. Add in his jump pad and he brings his mobility to his squad mates, allowing them to engage or retreat together. The open areas of Olympus are his playground, with him being able to cross them on foot faster than any other legend, and his jump pad giving his team a taste of his speed. With Olympus being arguably his best map, let me tell you guys, we're in for some more Octane dominance this split. Moving on, we have another stable power pick in Gibraltar. The opposite of Octane, the Shielded Fortress is the master at holding his ground. Whether you're getting pushed by a squad or your squad finds himself in a tough spot when pushing, Gibby's bubble is the perfect protection tool. His ultimate can be very strong in open area fights, and when combined with his bubble and his ability to revive teammates faster within it, he makes his squad so hard to kill. Olympus is the heaviest third-party map, and no one defends his team from incoming third parties the way Gibby does. As a powerful pick for many seasons, nothing is changing going into Split 2 of Season 9. Gibby is still a beast. In the next S tier slot, we have the newest addition to the game, Valkyrie. Valk has been a powerful pick since her release, being one of the strongest picks last season on World's Edge. Even with players only having a split of practice under their belt on the pick, she has shown to have a ton of versatility in a variety of situations. Though Olympus doesn't have the same heights for Valkyrie to traverse as World's Edge, her ultimate is incredibly powerful on Olympus, allowing her to relocate her squad safely. With the open expanses between POIs, her ability to scout well and move her team around the map is huge. You're going to need to be more mindful of how and when you're flying around the sky this split, because if you find yourself flying too high in an open area of Olympus, you're going to make yourself a very easy target. That being said, if you adapt to the map, put a focus on using her ultimate and tactical well, she's going to remain a top tier pick for the second half of Season 9. And if you want to learn how to use the S tier legends in this video to their full potential, then check out some of our top 750 ranked Apex Predator coaches over at ProGuides.com. With their help, you can easily escape low elo and become the best player in your squad in no time. But without further ado, let's get back into the video. In the final slot of our S tier, no surprise here, we have Bloodhound. Bloodhound Scan is the single best on-demand tracking ability in the game. This ability allows you to safely scout areas, ensuring there are no lingering enemies. It allows you to scan mid-fight to have eyes on enemy squad members at all times, and to spot a third party before they're on top of you. With Olympus being a low ground map with a lot of third partying, Bloodhound's Q can be a lifesaver for your squad. Combine this with the Beast of the Hunt giving him some extra speed, and he is the only recon character that can keep up with the pace of Olympus games without any help from his squad mates. As always, if you're looking for a good pick for grinding ranked this split, you can't go wrong with Bloodhound. Up next, we have our A tier. The legends in this list are Wraith, Bangalore, and Horizon, and these are some of the stronger legends in the ranked season for Olympus. A few of these legends were much better on World's Edge and King's Canyon, but they still do their job very, very well on Olympus. And starting off our A tier, we have Wraith. Wraith is a great choice if you're looking for good team mobility, but don't like the brash style of Octane or Valkyrie. Her portal is incredibly strong, but it can be tough to get good placement in the open expanses of Olympus. Unlike World's Edge, where there's a ton of hiding places for her portal, Olympus will force Wraith players to be very tactical about when they use this ability to ensure they can find a good endpoint that's not in line of sight of enemy squads. This is why she finds herself in the A tier and not our S tier, as playing her this split will require more patience and thought on Olympus than other maps in the game. This being said, her ability to pick what fights she and her squad want to be involved in and portal them in as the aggressors or away makes her a powerful legend on Olympus. Plus, she gets bonus points for her kunai knife as always. Next in our A tier, we have Bangalore. Bangalore has shown herself to be quite capable in many of the open areas in Olympus. A well-placed smoke grenade can be a game changer, providing great cover for her teammates, and her passive gives her a nice speed boost if she finds herself under fire in the open. Bangalore does have room for error, however, as her smokes and ultimate can just as easily ruin a fight for you and your squad if positioned improperly. Bangalore is one of those legends that looks very good when played properly, but can be frustrating to play with if she's piloted by an inexperienced player. However, in the right hands, she's a great addition to your squad, and if you put in the practice, she can be one of the hardest legends to pin down. And surprise surprise, Horizon finds her way in the A tier next as one of the best team-fighting characters in the game. While the recent nerfs to her Q forced players to adapt and took away the ability to sit up on the lift forever, she remains very strong. A well-coordinated black hole can allow your squad to devastate an enemy team, and her gravity lift still allows her and her team to effectively take high ground. Most of Olympus can be reached with a simple Horizon Q, making this ability very strong on this map in particular. Back on her home turf, Horizon will do very well this season on Olympus. Up next, we have our B tier legends, which include Pathfinder, Wattson, Crypto, and Loba. These legends are strong, but aren't a must-have like the legends higher up in the list. To start, we have the robot man himself, Pathfinder. While Pathfinder isn't the flashiest of picks, he gets the job done in many scenarios. He won't be summoning a black hole or transporting his team through another dimension, but he does have some very handy rope maneuvers. His Q is still a good mobility option, and even more so on Olympus where there aren't a lot of crazy heights he's trying to reach. This ability shines when used to quickly reposition or fly over enemies' heads, and Olympus offers Pathfinder a lot of options for this. Add on his ultimate and he brings some nice mobility to his team, giving them a quick way to traverse large gaps between POIs. His ult requires more setup than Octane's and isn't as sneaky as Wraith's, so he finds himself a bit lower on the list. That being said, Pathfinder is pretty good on Olympus, so dust off your grapple skills and try him out this season. Continuing on our B tier, Wattson has made her way back up the list for the second split of Season 9. Wattson doesn't have the mobility that many of the legends above her have, but what she does have is a ton of team security. If you can manage to make it into the final circles of the game, there's no one better at holding down the fort right now than Wattson. Her Q and ult combine for the perfect defensive combo, making it near impossible for enemy teams to push her squad. You'll need to be mindful of when rings are closing and ensure you get early position for your team, but if you can manage this, Wattson will shine. Plus, it's hard to put her lower than B tier because she has one of the highest win rates in the game. So if you're making it into the late game but having a hard time closing out the win, Wattson may be just what you need. Also finding himself in the B tier, we have Crypto. Crypto is an interesting legend because the higher up the skill ladder you go, the better he becomes. He not only requires patience and practice to play, but he also requires that of his team in order to be successful. Crypto's drone allows him to scout for his team very effectively and at a further distance than Bloodhound. His drone does however require you to control it, so it requires a bit of setup. If Crypto's drone is positioned well and his squad plays well around it, his ultimate can devastate enemy squads and play a pivotal role in opening your pushes as a squad. However, Crypto can struggle on Olympus because he doesn't find many safe openings to get the most out of his drone. With the map being so open and third-party heavy, Crypto can easily get called out while navigating his drone. Add to this the style most people play on Olympus being faster than the other maps, and he just doesn't quite fit the meta currently in most levels of ranked play. But if you're sick of playing Bloodhound and want to mix it up, you can still bring a lot of value to your team if you're good at Crypto. And taking the last spot in our B tier, we have Loba. After the changes in the beginning of the season to her jump drive bracelet, Loba can finally stay mobile while waiting for her portal to land. This was huge for her kit and has made her a much better option than previous seasons. While Olympus isn't the best map for her ultimate, in early looting and late game situations it's still very strong, allowing her team to stock up on ammo or items safely. With her Q finally feeling good to use, she slipped her way up the list a bit, but it's a rather short-range teleport for herself when you consider the mobility of many of the legends placed above her on the list. If you are a Loba main, she's finally pretty good, and if you aren't, she's actually worth picking up and trying if you want a unique middle-of-the-pack legend. Next up, we have our C tier. The legends in this list are Caustic, Revenant, Mirage, and Lifeline. While all these legends are strong, Olympus is not very kind to them. And to start, we have one of our more annoying picks, Caustic. The Toxic Man himself is going to have a bit of a tough time this split, as Olympus is arguably one of his worst maps. The open space isn't what Caustic's kit is designed for, and he's going to struggle unless he can find some nice enclosed areas to fight with enemy squads. While there are some POIs he's going to do better in, overall, there are a lot of points on the map that don't fit his kit or playstyle. However, if you can get into the late game and set up with your squad, he can be quite strong at fending off enemy pushes and can help your squad to close out the map. Caustic is a bit of a more offensive version of Wattson, but it can be hard to get the most out of him this split on Olympus. Joining Caustic in the C tier is another setup-reliant legend, Revenant. Revenant is a very strong legend, but to get his full potential requires setup and communication with your team. His Death Totem can be one of the most powerful ultimates in the game, allowing your team to get a free life to trade with or kill an enemy squad. With mobility like Octane's jump pad prevalent in the current meta, this makes Revenant even more powerful. If your squad is on the same page and can pull off a 3-man totem push, it can be devastating. However, Olympus offers little in the way of cover in many areas to properly hide your totem, as many of the points of interest have wide open areas around them. This leads to having few opportunities to effectively pull off this play, and without it, Revenant just isn't very useful. His tactical ability does good damage, and the silence is good if you can land the ability. And with that being said, Revenant is a great legend, but he struggles on Olympus, and he's likely going to see a resurgence in the future after a map change. Also finding himself in the C tier is the trickster himself, Mirage. While his kit doesn't offer much utility, his raw bamboozle skills can confuse a lot of teams, and he can be a powerful solo queue pick, especially in the lower ranks. Not to mention, his passive can allow him to get some cheeky reses off in a pinch. If you're looking for a good solo legend for you to flex your movement and gun skills, Mirage is an alright option, but not good enough to put him above the other legends on this list. Finishing off the C tier, it's your favorite teammate, Lifeline. After some changes to her kit in the beginning of the season, she's fallen off a bit, but still remains a solid pick. However, the removal of her shield when reviving with her heal bot makes getting the reses off on her teammates much harder. Your squad is likely to get in an open area fight on Olympus, and her old shield used to make these revives a lot easier. With that shield gone now, she has to be careful when going to res a teammate, and can no longer use the shield as cover to protect them. Add this to the fact that her care package basically is an invite to nearby teams, and she's going to struggle more this split than she has in quite some time. If you are a Lifeline main though, keep at it. You'll need to be more creative and tactical about your ability use, but she's still an alright support pick. And finally, we have our D tier. The legends in this spot are Fuse and Rampart, per usual. Just note, these legends can work, but they just aren't that strong, so only really skilled players can make these legends shine. And coming in first with more of a thud than a bang, we have Fuse. Fuse seems like a legend that would be perfect for Olympus. He has a mini cannon barrage in his tactical ability, an open area ring of fire ultimate, and his passive allows him to have those extra grenades and launch them much further than the average legend. This being said, he just isn't quite there. His ult can easily be avoided, and the fast-paced fights of Olympus just don't suit him very well. If Fuse has teammates to set him up, say a Horizon to lead with a black hole, he can devastate his opponents. By himself though, his damage is underwhelming and his abilities are just slow. And finally, rounding out the D tier, we have Rampart. While she can be strong if she has the perfect setup and a team pushes her, she requires a lot more setup than Wattson or Caustic, and her abilities are just underwhelming. She thrives in the last few circles when she can take high ground, but even then she still falls short. If you enjoy Rampart, then keep at it. But if you're looking to win more games and find yourself struggling with her, maybe give Wattson a shot. Keep in mind guys, every legend is viable in the right hands, so don't let your main being low on this list discourage you. If you're a Lifeline one trick, then adapt to the split and get those wins. But if you're struggling and want to try out some of the more meta picks to see how it goes, then this list has you covered. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you're going to be playing on your rank grind to finish out the season. And as always, this has been valued, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.